In a shocking turn of events, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns has been suspended for his first violation of the WWE wellness policy. Now, this is huge news because Roman Reigns, the guy that was getting pushed to the moon, we're going to talk about it and discuss everything from did WWE know about it to they had a match to they had him drop the belt to now what happens going forward because the 30-day suspension ends right before the Battleground pay-per-view. Will they hold off? Is it smart for them to? Do they still let him have the match? Well, that's everything that we're going to discuss because this is kind of a big deal. Roman Reigns, obviously the guy that WWE thinks is the next big guy, the guy they want to push, the guy that went away, came back from injury, and immediately went to the Royal Rumble, went to WrestleMania. And to be honest with you, I'm fine with everything Roman Reigns has done. Right after WrestleMania, I thought the don't give a crap Roman Reigns that lets everybody beat everybody up around him was great. And, a couple months later, he had two great pay-per-view matches with AJ Styles, and everybody said AJ Styles carried him, which, there are some people that are so great in the ring they could pretty much make anybody look good, but Roman did a great job. And now we have the report that he failed the wellness policy. So Roman Reigns had basically released a statement saying that I apologize to my family, friends, and fans for my mistake in violating WWE's wellness policy. No excuses. I own it. So Roman Reigns essentially, and we don't necessarily know 100% right now what it's for, whether it was for taking something, whether it was for reports that they knew he had a concussion and he still wrestled anyway, which if the WWE wants to make their wellness policy seem as good as it is, you have to stay on top of that. If you keep showing images of Enzo Amore's concussion, if this is the concussion angle, the concussion side of things, and then he still went out there and wrestled anyway, after you're showing all that footage, and especially with the history of, now with CTE being so prevalent thanks to the NFL research and the research that has happened from sports and contact sports, we now know concussions are a huge deal. So that's why I'm always fine with the fact that we've gone away from chair shots, etc., because it is not something to mess around with. Now, if he had a concussion and he basically went out there and wrestled, you could look at that as Roman Reigns was trying to put the match first. But then the reports of WWE, according to F4W Online, when you actually talk about it, he brought up that they actually knew, top officials knew about the violation before the Battleground main event was announced on last night's Raw, which would indicate WWE may still go ahead with the match as planned, even though he won't be able to appear on any television show. Now, I didn't see Meltzer's actual writing, so I don't want to put this out of context here. I want to make this very clear because a lot of times when websites are quoted, especially Dave Meltzer, a lot of his posts are kind of taken out of context, and I've gotten to read more of Meltzer's posts as of late and actually read what he's written, and he's usually a little bit more vague than that. So if I'm WWE right now, I have a guy that we were going to push to be the next top thing, and then here we have a wellness policy violation. Now, the second wellness policy violation moves up to 60 days. Now, other superstars in the WWE have policy violations, and it's not necessarily the end of the world. Randy Orton. But if he is suspended, when he comes back from a suspension, and he's put right back into the main event, is that going to say anything about the wellness policy? Are they going to pull anything? Will this affect the triple threat match at all? Will this kind of change up plans a little bit, or will WWE go ahead and do it anyway? Personally, I thought that, and we're going to talk about it more in my review, but Raw was actually very, very good. I didn't really want to turn away. And now you have a case where the guy who was competing in the main event for a shot, they didn't have a winner. They announced the triple threat at Battleground, which I think they should have saved till SummerSlam. That's just me personally. I think it is. And as much as I hate to hear this word on WWE programming, because it's like the new WWE drinking game. A WrestleMania-worthy match. Okay, well then, so no match is good unless it's at WrestleMania then, is essentially what they're saying. Worthy. I hate that. It's the new drinking game. And it's a big pet peeve of mine, especially on Twitter when I post about it. There's a lot of people that kind of agree, or high caliber, WrestleMania caliber main event. And the three of those guys definitely could put on a WrestleMania match. It wouldn't even have to be at SummerSlam. A WrestleMania match between the former members of the Shield, with the story that they've crafted with when Seth won the title, he won it from pinning Roman Reigns. When Roman Reigns won it, he pinned Dean Ambrose. And when Dean Ambrose won, he pinned Seth Rollins. They're all one up on each other. They've all have kind of crafted this storyline that is going to create and pretty much an epic summer if Roman Reigns isn't punished for this. So if I'm WWE, I don't think I necessarily can punish him. I think that you're all in on Roman Reigns right now. And the fact that the WWE attendance ratings, now granted it was a big turn, it was Money in the Bank, but the fallout from that, the fact that Dean Ambrose is champion, and I'll admit it, when Dean Ambrose was on the mic and talking last night, it just made me realize how great it is to have a guy that's over as champion, that people at least enjoy again, because the crowd gets into it and makes it more exciting. And, Dean Ambrose cashing in the Money in the Bank is probably the best thing, first of all, even if he doesn't have a long title reign. I'm sure some people have speculated that, Roman was just going to beat him anyway for the title, or Seth Rollins was. Well, I don't think that's really the point, because Money in the Bank coming into a brand split, it may not be smart to have a Money in the Bank briefcase floating around. Now, I think it would have been great television if you had a SmackDown Money in the Bank holder and then all of a sudden he waited till Raw. But if you don't know the title situation right now, you don't know if it's going to be a traveling champion, it may make it really confusing had Dean Ambrose not cashed in. Because I would have preferred him to cash in, say, at Battleground. I think that would have been better. They could play hot potato with the title so they'd have the rematch clause thing, and then the briefcase gets cashed in. And now you have Roman Reigns, who may or may not be at the event. Now, the thing that everybody is pointing out that it is 3 days before the pay-per-view. So they could theoretically keep going with Roman Reigns. And the fact that if the reports are true and they knew about this violation before the main event last night, and that's the reason they pulled the trigger on Dean Ambrose, that's the reason last night they did that match and made it a triple threat, that's a little bit misleading. I mean, you knew that he wasn't in there, unless you were planning on already doing it anyway, that, okay, you have to suspend him, you have to be up on it. Just like when Jerry Lawler had the domestic abuse, the second it happened, before any details came out, WWE has got a zero tolerance policy. They had to suspend him. Now, there has been former wellness policy, and this is the reason I'm staying very vague on this, and I'm not riding Roman Reigns very hard on this, because you can feel a wellness policy like, Hornswoggle. Dylan basically said that he just couldn't pee in the allotted time, and that's how he failed. Now, right now, the reports are about the concussion, and, that's not something I can necessarily ride Roman Reigns about super hard. That if WWE officials knew, they shouldn't have let him wrestle. Yes, it should have been like, Roman, are you okay? Yeah, no, I'm fine. You probably should say something, but somebody in that situation before a huge main event, Seth Rollins, it is a WrestleMania-worthy match. You're probably not going to pull yourself out of action. It should have been WWE's responsibility to do that, but like I said, we don't know where this is going. That's why I was trying to wait on this to give my opinion, but either way, let's talk about the summer and how this affects it. Let's say WWE now doesn't go with Roman Reigns, and they pull back a while to let a summer of something else happen. I think it was a great plan to have Dean Ambrose cash in. That way Cena and Roman Reigns could go to separate shows without a title involved. And I like how we keep throwing Cena in there like he's going to jump back into the picture magically, but it's a great way to split them up, or even Seth Rollins now, to split both of them up organically and then have Dean Ambrose go between. It really is a smart plan. I like it, and I can dig it. Now, if Roman Reigns is supposed to be on one of the shows, it either would have been probably Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose on one show, and then Roman Reigns on the other, or I think that would be the pairing they would go. I think that they would put, at least two of them on one show and try to drive something out of it. And I'll be honest with you here, Roman Reigns, I don't think this is going to hurt him as much. I think that if we look at the summer and what the WWE is going to do, I still see them possibly going through with it at Battleground or at SummerSlam. It is a huge match. The Shield, if you look at the history between the Shield, you had Triple H basically going up against the Shield, putting Evolution on the line. Evolution lost. He convinced Seth Rollins to turn on him. He mentored Seth Rollins. He led them. Seth Rollins gets hurt. Roman Reigns is about to go on this meteoric rise to the top, so Triple H steps up to try to stop him. Seth Rollins' former protege steps up to stop Roman Reigns. He can't do it. Roman Reigns beats him. and then Seth Rollins comes back and beats him. That's a huge story. Like, that on paper looks fantastic. So Roman Reigns, man, when he comes back, I think WWE is still going to push him. I don't think they're going to keep him away. And if they do, it's not going to be something to necessarily keep him out of the main event, unless that Dean Ambrose keeps drawing. I think based on last night's TV ratings, if the ratings stay up, or the attendance, house shows attendance, like, that's one of the initial reports is why they put the title on him, is because as of late, the attendance with Roman Reigns, it used to be even between the shows, so it wasn't a problem with Roman Reigns getting booed or whatever. But now it's apparently going the other way, so that's why they put the title on Dean. Either way, I don't care. I don't think it's going to matter either way. But if I'm WWE, I don't necessarily let this change anything, because I want the Shield personally. Like, if this was any other storyline and they just wanted Roman Reigns out of the way, I'm sure most people would say, yeah, get him out, let him do their thing. But I think they could mess up the best storyline going. So if it's not a wellness policy violation that is super major, that, you know, could have implications, like he did crack cocaine, or, you know, something that, and he did absolutely not do that. I'm just saying something so out there that, you know, it'd be kind of hard for the media, especially with WWE, with the amount of media pressure they get, the UFC sale, trying to stay looking good on paper. If it's not something huge, I fully expect them to stay around. Titus O'Neil came back from a suspension. He already had a title match, and look at how awesome he did. I mean, and it wasn't a wellness policy for Titus, but he was suspended and came back and kind of got pushed. Roman is their top guy. I don't see it being an issue, guys. I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Do you think this is going to blow back on Roman Reigns? Do you think that Roman Reigns is going to get any heat for this? Is this going to stop the triple threat match at Battleground? Or will this even stop it all the way up until SummerSlam? Because I really do want to see this match. I'll be honest with you. I think the Shield could craft a nice tale. Or if they wanted to shut this down, they could kind of have the match, and I still would have liked to see maybe the Shield have to band together for a pay-per-view to take on Club or anybody else. You know, I personally would have liked to see something like that, where they kind of tease the story before they have them feud again, and then they remember why they're fighting. Or maybe that could happen down the line this fall. Maybe I'm rushing that one a little bit, but I definitely think that Roman Reigns isn't going to be hurt by this, and that's where I'm kind of going to leave this video. The match may have jumped around a little bit, but ultimately, Roman Reigns, he's still going to be the guy. WWE is crafting some great television right now. Like I said last night, Monday Night Raw was fantastic. It was one of my favorite Raws of the year. They did such a good job continuing or building on the storylines, creating new ones. And Titus O'Neil just like a boss. So Roman Reigns is definitely going to be around for a while. So until next time, guys, my name is Tubby. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, we will see you all later.